I never imagined that a man could die and still leave behind questions that tear through your soul. My name is Grace, and I was married to my husband Victor for 21 years. We weren't perfect, but we were happy, or so I thought. Victor was my everything. He was calm, loving, and a little secretive, but I took that as part of his quiet personality. He kept a small black diary he carried everywhere. He said it helped him remember things. I never dared open it. I respected his privacy. If only I knew what was written inside, maybe I would have understood the man I thought I knew. Victor died suddenly in a car accident. One moment he was rushing to work, and the next, I got the call that changed my life forever. His death shattered me. But what shattered me even more was what came after. At the reading of his will, the lawyer began distributing his properties. The house, our savings, the farmland, and a small construction company he had built from nothing. But there was one clause that silenced the entire room. Victor had left half of everything to a woman named Linda Beckley and her son, Michael. Everyone turned to look at me. I had never heard that name in my life. The lawyer continued reading, saying that Victor had known Linda for many years and that her son deserved to be taken care of. I froze. My heart began to pound so loudly I could barely hear the rest. Who was she? And why would my husband include her and a child in his will? For days, I couldn't sleep. I was angry, confused, and broken. People whispered. Some said Victor had a secret family. Others said he'd been helping a widow out of kindness. But deep down, I needed to know the truth for myself. As I was sorting out his clothes one evening, I noticed something, his old diary, tucked beneath a stack of files in the wardrobe. It was dusty and worn out, with his handwriting on the first page. If anything ever happens to me, Grace deserves to know everything. My hands trembled. I opened it slowly, and between 2 pages, a folded letter slipped out. It was addressed to me. The first line read, "My dear Grace, if you are reading this, then I am gone. Please forgive me before you judge me." Tears filled my eyes. I continued reading. "Many years ago, before I met you, I was engaged to a woman named Linda. We were young, and she got pregnant. But then I left for a construction job abroad and lost contact with her. When I returned, she had moved away. I searched for her but never found her until 3 years into our marriage." I froze. 3 years into our marriage? He continued. "She was struggling, raising a little boy alone. Grace, I couldn't walk away. I started helping her secretly, paying the boys' school fees, rent, and hospital bills. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to lose you. I thought I could balance both truths, but guilt consumed me every single day. Then came the final lines that broke me completely. The boy, Michael, is my son. I left him half of what I own because he deserves the life I couldn't give him. Please don't punish him for my mistake. Tell him I loved him, even if I couldn't be there as his father. And Grace, please find it in your heart to forgive me." I dropped the letter and cried until I couldn't breathe. My husband, the man I shared my soul with, had another child, and he kept it from me for almost 2 decades. I found Linda 2 weeks later. She didn't deny anything. In fact, she cried and told me Victor had promised to come clean, but couldn't find the courage. She said, "He always spoke of you with respect, Grace. He said you were the reason he became a better man." Hearing that didn't stop the pain, but it gave me clarity. Victor wasn't perfect. He made mistakes, painful ones. But he also carried a guilt that ate him alive until his last breath. I decided to meet Michael, the boy who didn't even know I existed. When I saw him, I saw Victor's face in his eyes. He called me Auntie Grace, not knowing who I was. I hugged him and whispered, "You have your father's heart." That day, I chose forgiveness, not because Victor deserved it, but because I needed peace. Today, Michael visits often. My children treat him like a brother. It wasn't easy, but I've learned that sometimes life's deepest wounds become the path to healing. Victor's diary still sits by my bedside, not as a reminder of betrayal, but as a symbol of truth, forgiveness, and love beyond pain. If you were in my place, would you forgive your husband for keeping a secret like this? Would you embrace the child he hid from you? Or would the betrayal be too much to bear? Sometimes the truth doesn't set us free immediately, but it's the only way healing can begin.